can't believe we made
Yes,
it.
yay! The reason why we're extra happy is because we are managing backstage for the first time by ourselves. And I'm so nervous, but enjoying like kind of mixing DJ feeling.
Yeah, be kind to us. If something funny happens today, it's because Sid is not there, or Kevin, who sometimes support us and kind of bring up questions, bring the speaker on.
Yeah.
And so we're on our own. Arisa's doing an amazing job, but we just wanted to put it out there. It's possible that things happen today.
Yeah, so it's experimental, but I mean, everything is configured, so should be fine.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong, right?
True. And I'm experimenting like some nice feature, like like here in below.
Yeah,
I like it.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining, everybody. Hello, welcome. Let us know where you're joining from in the world if you wanted to. I saw a bunch of people might be here for the first time, so warm welcome, literally warm, depending on where you're based. In Germany, it's exceptionally warm right now, so we're really like sweating over here, not because of the stress of DJing in the background, but just in general, the weather's crazy.
Yeah. I hope the sound is okay, because I really need to run a fan, otherwise it's really melting.
I was wondering what that is, but you're excused. Yeah.
If it's noisy, then let me know, then I'm gonna turn off.
No, everybody deserves a fan in this weather. We got some folks joining from France and from Brazil. Nice. I'm very curious where people are from. Yeah. And today is episode number 12 of our GirlCode Coffee Chat. If you don't know GirlCode, it's an organization, I think they're based in the UK. They are supporting women and girls in the tech industry just to get jobs, to get equal pay, to find new opportunities. It's a really cool community. If you want to, you can join them. You really don't have to. You can also watch our stream without being a member. But Arisa and I found out that we're both ambassadors, and that's why we thought, let's make something of it, and that's why we're using the Storyblok stream to kind of get people on and talk about topics that interest us. And that's also kind of my segue into today. We have an amazing guest, and we got her here to talk about all things DevOps. So we can actually bring her on today. She's our colleague, she's an amazing speaker, and she's joining us today, and we're really excited to have her. So welcome, Camila. There she is. Arisa, it works.
Welcome. Hello. I'm just so happy.
For me, it's actually good morning. I don't know about you all.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for the invite, Arisa and Josefine. Well, I don't know exactly what to say right now. I don't know if I can already introduce myself. Like,
why not? Sure.
My name is Camila, but you can call me Cami, and I'm also known as Punk Do DevOps, because it's crazy, because here in Brazil it means like punk that does DevOps. So it sounds like a wrong grammatical thing in English, but yeah, it's like in Brazil, punk from DevOps or something like that. I work in DevOps since 2019, but I knew DevOps from DevOps Days Porto Alegre, that it's in the south of Brazil. It was my first event of the DevOps Days community, and today I'm from the DevOps Days core organizer. So we help to create DevOps Days across the world. And I was last week in Chicago. We were in an organizer summit, doing things to make this community grow and make it bigger. I'm also Google developer expert in Google Cloud, and I'm HashiCorp organizer, ambassador, and the Docker captain, and Docker community leader here in Rio de Janeiro. So we organize meetups here, and A lot of things. Some things that are not from IT. I play soccer. So I also play soccer. I already had some championships from here.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not that good, but
Well.
Doesn't matter.
Just tell anybody. Nobody's gonna know.
Yeah.
And well, today I work as a senior site reliability engineer here in Storyblok, and I'm so happy. I work here since the last year, since March of the last year, like 1 year and a half. With João Freire, that it's here in the live chat. So thanks, João. And well, I'm in Brazil. Brazil and Rio de Janeiro, it's always warm. So, and I do not have a fan right now. So I'm like, I'm I'm not dealing good with this thing. But well, later I will turn on my fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. But well, actually, I'm doing a lot of things of DevOps, like speaking in community. I was in the Google Brazil last week to talk about Google technology, about Kubernetes. We are doing some migrations here in Storyblok, moving from virtual machines to some new technologies in AWS. So well, DevOps, it's a thing that we can mix like the developer community and technologies, but also infrastructure things. So it make it like easier, but also for developers are good because they can they can know better things about infrastructure, like how things work and how virtual machines work, what it's a container, what it's a pipeline, and in by the way of the infrastructure, they can know better how the code works. Like for a Java, what's the infrastructure that I need, or what's the infrastructure that I need to build for it. So it's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a really, really big field. And you already in the first introduction, you said so many things I want to go into. But maybe before we dive in deeper, can you, like, if there's folks on the call who are maybe not super familiar with the topic, like, in really easy words, what is DevOps and what do you do in your day to day that's kind of that people can kind of make it easier to understand? For me, it's always been very abstract, so I'd love to understand better.
Let me check. Like DevOps is actually a culture, no? So we work with a lot of platforms and frameworks like Terraform, Docker, but the way it's that DevOps, it's a way to share what you know. So for example, we have a thing that it's called calms. So it's about culture, automatize things, and about lean process, and about measuring and sharing knowledge, so sharing what you know. And I think that DevOps, it's about automatize things, optimize that. And so if you have some process in infrastructure, so for example, something in a virtual machine, I need to do that manually. So I need to put that file inside a folder, or put a file inside a virtual machine through an FTP or something like that. No, the way that we think is that if I do that all the time, so is there a way that I can automatize that? So in DevOps days, we say like the end of the manual things. So how we can optimize and how we can share. For example, writing good documentation for because there's some things that we saw in other type of ways to work in infrastructure that it's not that good for a team work. For example, I think just one person in the whole team can know. So no, everybody needs to know a little bit. So everybody needs to know a little bit of everything, because if someone is sick or if someone is in a holiday, another person can do the same thing, can do a deploy, or can do a pipeline, or maybe can do a troubleshooting. So it's things like that. And it's a thing that we care about each other. And it's not only about the platforms that we use, about the Terraform or about the Docker or about the Kubernetes, but how we use that inside. For example, we have a thing called blameless culture, that it's about, if something's wrong, it's not your fault. It's something that it was wrong. I don't know if it's about documentation. I don't know if it's about something in the process that it's wrong, but how we make it better. So the feedback in DevOps, it's really important for us, because it's not a thing about point to you and, oh, you're wrong, or this thing's wrong. No, but how can we make it better? So we can get this feedback through soft skills, like oh, this thing is not that good, but you're amazing, but this thing is not that good. How send feedback, but also in a technical way, through the measuring that I said before, like getting measuring observability through the platforms. Made me know, for example, I did a deploy and everything is going wrong, like a lot of status code errors, something like that. And so how can we fix that? And it makes us increase better our infrastructure when we get feedback from people, get free feedback from platforms, from observability. So it's really nice. And I think it's that way. I think DevOps is about people, more about people than about the technology, because we see that a lot in the community events. Everybody that we ask about, oh, what is DevOps? What is DevOps Days? They say like, oh, it's an amazing community that people share about process, share about technologies and about containers. But we know each other, we care about each other, and when we work together, we want to know if everything's going fine and if some people are fine, and well, whatever, like that.
Wow, that's so much.
Yeah, I was about to do a plug,
We all came to Cami's TED Talk. Like, wow.
Yeah.
No, I love it. Thank you. So basically, it's trying to make all of us developers work better and more smoothly together, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think the way that things are going in IT, it's like we need to know more about what is the job position and what the other person do. Like, for example, I am a developer, but I need to know a little bit of infrastructure because it makes my job better. Like I can, if I'm doing, like, I don't know, like a Ruby code, but if I understand where is going to be that Ruby code, where I'm going to deploy that, where it's going to work, and what I'm going to use, and what about my customers, how we're going to use that, it make it better because I can think about the whole process. That's why we say it's also about it's also about a lean process, because DevOps is process. DevOps is the way that we think, how we deliver that in a better way, that everybody understand what's going on, and everybody knows a little bit of the other job just to make it better. It's not about, oh, I am a developer, so I need to understand everything about infrastructure. It's not about that, but it's about a little bit. Like, it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's like, I think this applies to many jobs in particular where you're like, oh, but this isn't front end, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna, like, that's not very, like, collegial, is that a word? No, but not very friendly. Like, you want to make sure that even though you don't know everything, you can kind of find some context, right? And that's also what makes it interesting, I'm assuming, because I mean, we all want to broaden our horizons and figure out like what else is out there, right? So yeah, really, I love that. I had no idea. It's blowing my mind.
Yeah, and I also see like that's what exactly wanted to ask in one of the comments. So Cami, you already like answered lots of things. Like people wanted to hear from you.
There was a question about DevOps was a job position. Yeah. It's curious in the community. Like for example, because it's like a fight. It's not actually a fight, but there's some people that say like oh, but DevOps it's a culture, so you can call a job position DevOps, and that's why later in the when Google just had the SRE book that they released it, people started to name the positions of the job positions of DevOps SRE, because they were saying that SRE is the job position and the DevOps is the culture. Well, I don't know exactly, because DevOps it's a thing that it's a culture, but today it's a thing that everybody also calls it a job position, and it's hard today to say like no, or to say because in another way, because it depends of the company. For example, there are companies that, for example, it's DevOps, but they call the job position cloud architect, or for example, they call SRE, like Storyblok, or for example, they call infrastructure IT. No. They call in different ways, but the concept of that job position, it's still DevOps. It's still mix a little bit of dev with a little bit of ops. So in the way, it's going to be like the same thing. We are going to do exactly the same things. I think the difference is that inside the DevOps world, we have the SRE, we have the DevOps, we have GitOps, we have FinOps. So, for example, I believe, this is my opinion, I believe DevOps engineers create things. So, for example, they create pipelines, they create terraforms, they create containers and build that inside Kubernetes. And SREs, senior site reliability engineers, they maintain the infrastructure and the availability. So they work more with measuring metrics, like for example, availability of the platforms if they are online, like that. And the GitOps, it's more about pipelines, and FinOps, it's more about how can we reduce costs using infrastructure. So DevOps, it's also a big word. We have, for example, ML ops, that it's more focused in machine learning, and it's hard to say that it's just a culture, because every day HR are telling a new jobs that are DevOps engineers, and just try it, like.
Well, I like that. I like your spirit, and yeah, I really can tell like you have lots of like passion to talk about, and there could be like a lot of, let's say, like active discussions for people who are interested in DevOps to join like from now on, or the one already have been working like you in the fields. So yeah, that is actually like interesting to probably like hear more details. But I found one more interesting question that we got from the audience. So I want to bring that up because I'm also interested in to know the answer too. So basically, like, what is your tip for not getting so lost in many technical, let's say, like terminologies or like in the world of the DevOps?
Oh, I love alphabet soup, by the way. Like I've never heard it, but it makes perfect sense, that term. Yeah.
Well, it's a good question. I believe that we need to make things simple. So, for example, I know that we have a lot of things, and oh, it's calms and it's eyes, and a lot of things. So, um, the way, the points there. If you're in a company, what they do? Like actually in Storyblok, we work with AWS, we work with Docker, and I really appreciate Kubernetes, but it's not a thing that actually we work here. So it's not a thing that I need to study about that. And oh my God, embrace that. And then I believe that if you are searching for a DevOps position, there are three things that you need to understand a little bit. That it's Docker and Terraform and Kubernetes. But if you're already in a company, like well, just learn things that it's in the company. Like you don't need to understand everything and well search a lot of things and take care about the hypes, because every year and almost every month there are always new things that are trending, like oh backstage, oh AI, oh, but is it really a thing that we're going to use? It's really useful for your infrastructure in your company, or you're just going to use that because oh I really want to be inside the trend? So it was a thing that happened in with Kubernetes also. So I believe that to do not get lost in these things, you need to think about what is important to you, what is important to your company, what is important to the job positions that you want. Because there are some job positions that, well, Kubernetes, it's not that important, or maybe Terraform is not that important, or maybe it's more important, for example, if you're going to be an SRE, it's more important that you know better observability, platforms of observability, like, well, I don't know, Grafana, Prometheus, Alert Manager, Datadog. So you need to focus in what do you really want and study that. Not like oh I need to study everything that I'm watching in the lives and in the KubeCon and whatever things like that.
Yeah, it gets so overwhelming, right? Oh, my cat is making an appearance. Sorry. Every time he needs so much attention. I'm sorry. No, you cannot walk on the keyboard.
Maybe you want to learn about DevOps.
Yeah, he's the main engineer in this household for sure. No, but it's very he distracted me so much. It's so overwhelming, I think, in the whole tech space, but it sounds like in DevOps specifically, because there's so many different things, right? And if you're really new, it's probably really hard to figure out where can I even start? Is there like one thing that is like a general, or is applicable to most things that people should learn if they want to get started somewhere?
I think I say to people that the best way to start it's with Docker, because Docker it's a thing that made DevOps popular. So when we started to talk about DevOps, it was in 2009. So it started with the DevOps Days Ghent. And it happened, and we started to think about and to talk about automatizing things and whatever, because in that time, like for example 10 deploys in a day, it was like whoa, like so and later, like I think 4 years later, Docker just made it open source. It was private, and later it was open source. So later that Docker made it open source, and people started to talk about containers. It was a way to automatize things, because later, before we had like, I have a code and I need to put that in a virtual machine. But to change it, to change places, like to change to another virtual machine, from one virtual machine to another, or to scale it, it's hard. it's also expensive. So Docker, it's smaller. It's also it's easier to learn, and you get some tips, and you know better how automatize works, and you also get some things about infrastructure as code, that it's a thing that we see a lot in DevOps, how to build infrastructure but through code. That's why we say DevOps, because it's also a thing that we build ops through code. And I think DevOps is a good way to start with a Docker. And later, I think like create things with Terraform. And I think the go harder is Kubernetes. But the point of start, I really believe it's Docker, because it's easier, it's portable, yeah, like that.
Okay, I feel like it's still a lot, but it's more doable. It's more.
Yeah,
It's some things to start. Yeah.
I promise to you that Docker, it's not that hard. Like you can put a website online in like 3 minutes, and it's just like with 3 buttons, like no, boom.
Okay. Okay.
Like I promise you.
Okay, now you convinced me.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was scared, but at the same time, I was also interested in
Yeah.
what kind of like things out there. So I was like, to get started, like having a look at a couple of, let's say, like some reliable like books about the Dockers, but I already got lost. So maybe like I'm interested in also like one day like knowing, I don't know, like front-end developers friendly like Docker how to stuff, but that could be another time. I really like the people, sorry, not people, our attendees are like asking really active questions in there.
Yeah.
We are already like halftime reach of this live streaming. Time flies. So before we're not going to run out of the time, maybe like we could jump on to like a couple of questions. I think it's a connected questions, but like this one, like Tahiri Beck, I guess, I hope I pronounce it correct, asking like, what about Golang and what type of scripting language do you use?
I believe Golang, it's really useful, and it's a programming language that DevOps really want to learn, because it's portable. So, for example, Kubernetes, we write Kubernetes with Golang. Docker is made with Golang, and Terraform also, I believe. And only, I think, Ansible, it's not. Ansible, it's with Python. And but it's really good, because the difference, it's that, for example, if I build something with Python, I need to check the versions. So, for example, if I run something in one computer with a version, I don't know, 3.6, and it's working like that. But if I change my computer to a version like 2.7, it's not going to work. And Golang, it's really portable, because when we build that, it's a binary, so it works whatever the version I have. So in 1 dot whatever, 0 dot whatever, it's really portable. So it's really good for us that are DevOps engineers, because we really need that, not just the automatizing things, but also we need to make things running fine, and making it portable as much as possible. And for example, we deal sometimes with a lot of different operating systems, like with iOS, but also with Windows Server, but also with Linux, with a lot of things. So if we have an infrastructure that it's most portable as possible, it's really good. So and Golang, it's a language that it's really down level, so we can really go almost in the hardware to work with that. And it's also good for us, because we almost work with the hardware, because we work with infrastructure. So it's really good. I really appreciate that. For programming language as Docker, as DevOps engineers, I believe that Golang and Python, but Golang are the better to work. But Golang really is the better one to use. Yeah. I found very powerful because we can parallelize. Yeah, it's multi-thread also, so we can work with a lot of things in the same time. It's also really good because there are programming languages that are single thread, so it's not going to be the fast. It's going to have some trouble. Yeah, Golang, it's really fine. And we have, like, for example, for Terraform, we have some tests for infrastructure that work better with Golang. So if you want to learn some programming language for DevOps, I really appreciate that you should go to Golang.
Okay. That's actually good to know, because I was also like curious about to, like have some bites from many things and was kind of exploring and experimenting with the Golang. And actually, like, I found Golang is not so, let's say, scary for me, because because technically you also could do similar things to, like, what front end does. So I mean, you could, as an entry point, you also could start from there, and then later on, maybe if you're interested in about DevOps in depth, then you could go more for like what Golang performs the best for it. So I actually like felt so relieved that, oh, okay, then maybe that could be something like another entry point for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so impressive, Arisa. Every time we have guests on, you have tried what they're doing, and it's like, wow, like, this girl has tried everything.
No, I mean, like, I only do like when I have like some time. Nowadays I have less, but yeah,
No,
yeah,
still, it's really cool to try new stuff, right?
definitely. Yeah. There's like one more thing, so I want to pick it up and want to hear, let's say, your answer or opinion, Cami, about. So here it comes. So, but the cloud platform took a lot of jobs from DevOps. What is your opinion? I actually want to know about it.
Cloud platforms. Yeah. If I understood the question, I think because DevOps, it's a thing that works better to cloud. I really I see different architectures. For example, we also work in bare metal. That it's a thing that it's in the own company, and data centers that are at the admin. It's in the own company. But and we saw that the most in banks, but because of the security data and things like that. But cloud platforms, they took a lot of DevOps jobs, because DevOps, it's a process that really works fine inside the cloud, because the cloud like AWS, Google, and Azure, whatever, they have already a lot of process that focus in DevOps, automatizing pipelines, Docker, already platforms that work inside this DevOps world, like GKE, Kubernetes, or EKS for Kubernetes in AWS. So a lot of I think that a lot of cloud platforms, they are searching for DevOps, because DevOps really works fine with that. Like, for example, Agile also works really fine with DevOps, because when we need to make changes inside a DevOps project, for example, it needs to be fast, because we are always automatizing, we are always getting feedback, we are always making changes. So we cannot do a thing that it's like a waterfall, that, oh, we are starting this today, and if you want to change something, it's like in 6 months, because a lot of things are going to change, and deploys maybe can get some errors, and we are getting in trouble with pipelines, and maybe a lot of things in the DevOps world changes a lot, versions, platforms, and launching new things. So like this, the cycle of DevOps, it's really fast, so we need something that it's also fast to follow that. So Well, agile, DevOps, cloud are things that really work fine together because they have support for that together. So I really think that it's about that.
Wow, I'm learning really like intensive information in less than an hour, and
Yeah.
I believe definitely like I want to learn more because like I mean like getting this much of the teaser information now
Mhm.
makes me want to dive in more.
Yeah, and it's always
I'm
also
here.
Yay!
I love that. And also like it's the worst because we're so curious and then we have 1 hour with these amazing people who tell us about these amazing communities and we're like, oh no, the day has still only 24 hours. How are we going to do all this? No, it's really, really cool. Thank you so much. And there's some things I think in Portuguese that I really don't understand. So if you get the question, you can translate an answer. But
In the
yeah.
in the chat. Okay, it's in Portuguese.
Obrigado. Thank you. Right?
Yeah, but
Ha.
the next one it's about where I'm from. It's
Oh.
você é catarinense ou gaúcho? It's because it's places of Brazil. Catarinense is
Oh.
one place, gaúcha it's another place. He's asking me where I'm from. I'm from
Oh.
São Paulo. Yeah,
Ah.
I'm from São Paulo. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, nice. I think there's a bunch of people joining from Brazil today as well. You brought your fan club. That's amazing. That's how we like it.
Yeah, I just share it to a lot of people.
That's the best. No, it's really, really lovely. And I think it's a topic that so many people are interested in. Like,
Yes.
it's so valuable to the community and it sounds like people are really active. So that's really nice.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people want to know more about it because, for example, in my case, I was a developer, but in 2016 or 17, yeah, I just knew the DevOps days on Porto Alegre, and I was like, I want to still be a developer, but I was also really appreciating infrastructure because in 2015, I think, yeah, or 14, I don't remember. I worked in support of infrastructure, and I was thinking it was really interesting. But I was in that time, it was like, do you need to work with developer or you need to work as infrastructure? You can't work with the both. So like when I was in the DevOps days, I was like, oh my god, you can work with the both. Just like blew my mind, like. And I started to try to migrate to the DevOps. So I started to like you ask like, oh, how we can start. I started to study about cloud. So I started to study about AWS and Docker. I started to study about that, and I was still being a developer. I was a full stack developer, and when it was 2019, I just started to make some processes to enter in some companies as DevOps mid-level, and I just became a DevOps. So and one thing that I didn't answer, it's about the day by day because like, oh, just 24 hours to all these things, but it's not like it's not like, oh, we are doing things all the time. It's like we're measuring some metrics, and it's going, we someone did a deploy and it's going wrong, what is happening. So we do like a troubleshooting, we start to search, we need to fix that, and today we are going to create a new pipeline, and Wednesday we are going to create a Terraform. But it's not like we're doing a lot of things all the time. And when we have like a project that it's bigger, like, oh, we need to migrate a whole infrastructure to Kubernetes, it's like we do small things. Like today we are going to put this container inside that and test. Oh, tomorrow we are going to do the same but to other application. So it's just like baby steps, because if now we're going to get crazy, like, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree that you need to have a good structure to, let's say, like accomplish to build something like in the end, like a final
Yeah,
picture that's going to be big. But you cannot work these kind of, let's say, scale of the thing like in just one night or even 1 week. I would be so exhausted, and you don't want to work in so stressful environment. So I think in dev world, like regardless of the areas that you work on, it's quite important to break down, this into the smaller tasks, and then, like see the path, like how long we will need to take to get these, let's say, implementations and the builds done. And
Yeah.
I think this, let's say, like way of thinking we share in common. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Small things to make it better, to think better, and to and to do not like to not get crazy. Like actually, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Totally
it's a
to not
lot
get
of
burned out.
DevOps. Yeah, DevOps need to think in a lot of things. So we need to organize, and it's not like like everybody in the team needs to understand a little bit of what the other person's doing. But I'm not doing actually the same thing that my other teammates doing. So for example, I'm doing Terraform, but the other one's doing observability. So in the next week, we change to do not like, oh, I'm doing a lot of things and he's doing a lot of things at the same time, just to and to do, because if you're doing a lot of things at the same time, we are not doing that good. So that's also about it.
Yeah, I really like the idea of making things like as simple as possible so that everyone in your team would have better understanding. And when things would fail or not going to work, you could easily spot where exactly, you could probably spot a bug or some, let's say, place, another like source of the code that you improve. Yeah, I really like that. And there's one question I really wanted to like ask you, and I was holding it. So as I see, let's say like no upcoming, let's say questions from the audience, I will take the opportunity. So here's the thing: what are the some common challenges you have in the DevOps team? Like face it day to day, and how do you approach overcoming them?
Mm, wow. Today I think it's more about migrating things. So it seems similar, but our infrastructure or even the exactly same code that works in a virtual machine or in a computer do not work in the same way that it works in a container or how it works in a Kubernetes. So the way to migrate that, to test that, and it start to drop a lot of errors. It's hard to deal with that because, and also to make the infrastructure stop them manually and start to make it also uh, everything code, like stop doing everything in AWS manually and start to import it to Terraform and making code and apply that and dropping a lot of errors and fixing that and dropping a lot of errors again. So, and also I think about the deployment because we need to always be side by side to the developers and follow them in the meetings of the deployments. And if we start to face errors, we need to check, we need to troubleshoot, we need to understand, like for example, why is it happening? Is it in our side, it's in infrastructure, or it's developer, something that developer did wrong? So like recognize that, and like also make our job more easy in a way that developers don't need to depend on us. So what's the level of logs that developers can search or can see? It ways that we can automatize our job to like developer team do not depend on us in everything. Oh, troubleshoot, we need to talk with DevOps. Oh, logs, we need to depend on DevOps. Oh, we need to get access to something, we need to depend on DevOps. So it's a thing that we need to think about, but also do not have trouble with our security also. So all of these things about migrating, security, the dependence on the developer issues are things that we need to everyday think about, and also the impact that we have on the business. So, for example, Storyblok is growing a lot, so we need to offer infrastructure to deal with that, to deal with new CMS, new customers. So how we deliver that in a way that it's fast, in the way that company is growing. So we need to think in all of these things, and that's why I said that we can do one person everything. We need to like share the job. Like, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to be in front of this, you're going to be in front of that. I'm going to speak about troubleshooting with developers, and you're going to start to migrate that, because it make our job better. But I think the most challenging thing for me is this dependence, because if we make it better, we have more time to do other things that I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I can do, for example, I can do more pipelines. I can do more. I can make my migration end early. So how can I get more time automatizing more things to other teams, so I can have more time to do the best for my team? I think I think that it's interesting to think as a DevOps.
Wow. I also learned like one more new things from hearing your answer. So the teamwork and team education are also the key, right? Because like if you want to divide the tasks in between like numbers of team members, they need to know that. So first you need to investigate a little bit of the time to educate them, but then later on then they will be able to work on their own task. You can focus on like your own task, and as you educated them, then you can be quite confident that they're going to do a good job. So yeah, I found that we actually like share lots of like common way of working it. I thought like at some point, I don't know why, like in my mind, somewhere in my mind, like maybe the way they work might be slightly different. I mean, like DevOps people, but yeah, I actually like found out it's quite, I mean, like not too different. And yeah, maybe like with this, some people would have like another hope that, oh, okay, so the DevOps are not scary thing. I keep saying scary, but I mean, like there is nothing, like in the tech world should be scary. I mean, it's open for everyone. So yeah, hoping that people like me would be interested in to experiment again. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we can squeeze in one last question. Time runs so fast, but maybe we can squeeze in one last question. It was in the chat. There's also another one. Oh, how do we decide?
Oh God, hard to decide.
Because it's a GirlCode coffee chat, maybe we can prioritize this one. Any tips you would give for women in DevOps or tech?
Nice. We have amazing community of women in DevOps. So, for example, in DevOps days, we have an amazing diversity of women speaking, women in attendance, and women in organization. So, and the code of conduct is a thing that we really follow, and I feel myself really unsafe in the DevOps days. So and we have a lot of also meetups. I think there are some companies that really that they really enjoy the community. For example, CNCF that operates the Kubernetes and the KubeCon, Docker, HashiCorp, they really care about the diversity. So every time they do like scholarships and the meetups, they want to bring more women, Black people, LGBT people. So we are always embracing that, talking about that. So I really invite everyone to try it, because DevOps, it's a little bit different of other IT communities that I know, because some IT communities, it's like it's not the safe, or for example, it's always like a competition. But DevOps, it's a community that we are saying that in the DevOps days, we are saying like every DevOps days that you go across the world, like, oh, I'm going to Sao Paulo DevOps days, or to Chicago, or to London, or to whatever, to India, to New Delhi. Well, DevOps days, it's the same thing. It's the same sense of community. It's the same sense of embracing people and enjoy community, help each other, and to everyone, to every diversity and to inclusion. It's really good. And we have companies that also they want to bring more that inside the company. They want to have women at job positions, LGBT people at job positions, and Black people, and more diversity. So well, I invite everyone to try it, because it's really a safe place to try it, to try to speak. Meetups is a safe place to try to make your first speak, because we are always trying to help, and we are always talking about that. So, well, really try. Be courage to try, because we are always trying to help. We are always trying to make it better. We are always, if something's wrong, we are always trying to make it better, and to well, I don't know more how to say, because it's really a place that I didn't solve a lot of problems, and every problem that we had, we fixed it that with a lot of love, because we're always trying to make our best to that. So I really want you to share that, because DevOps is a community that helping me a lot to be at the job position and in the place of career that I am today. Like,
that's amazing. It's 30 degrees here, and I just got goosebumps, because it means the world to me if communities are like that. It's so amazing, and the way you speak about it makes me feel like it's so genuine, that it's like a really, really nice place. And I'm sure there's so many people that you can ask, right? If you're new and you're not sure where to start, it sounds like in this community you can actually say like, hey, help, like, and people will actually help you, right? So that is like so nice and so valuable. And I think we should strive in every community to create this kind of wholesome feeling of like just openness. I really, really appreciate it.
That's exactly what happened to me. Like, when I started to try to learn DevOps, I was like, I want to learn it, but I don't know how to start. And people was like, oh, I can help. Oh, I can help. Oh, you can try it. Oh, I will send to you a link and whatever. And did you watch this video? And it was like, it's really nice.
So amazing. Yeah.
Information, but people, I am really thankful to a lot of people inside the DevOps community that helping me a lot in my career, and they are doing this to a lot of other people, and it's the thing that it's from the DevOps community. We are always trying to help, so it's really we appreciate that a lot.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really good to hear. I think that's really kind of a nice finishing words. It leaves me feeling on such a warm, comfy feeling. It's really nice.
Same here.
No, that's really, really, really cool. Thank you so much, Cami, for everything that you shared with us. I feel like this hour was jam-packed with so much information. We had such nice folks on the chat joining us, asking so many questions, and we really, really appreciate everything that you shared with us today. Now we all have to go into DevOps, and we'll never turn back. Wow.
I love it.
I'll be here in the Slack if you want to know more.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Really, really cool. So it's already kind of time to wrap it up for us. Massive thank you to Cami, to everybody who joined today. And we just want to really quickly, because we were talking about inclusive communities and how folks can get started, we really quickly wanted to share, we're all working for Storyblok. They actually have an ambassador program. And we are highly encouraging people from underrepresented groups to apply as well. If you have any questions about it, you can ask all of us if you're curious what it is, or how you can contribute, whether you're good enough. Yes, you are. Please apply. We're very welcoming. We love to have a big community and support people. And it's really a nice place to get started, just if you're curious. And we do this once a month, right? So next month we're having a different guest. And so you can actually scan the QR code. So you're in sync for our next round. It's on September 26th. So you can join us if you want to. It's going to be around the same time, and we'll announce very soon who will be joining us, what the topic is. If you have any requests, you can always send them towards us. We'll try and make everything possible. We'll try. That's all I say. But yeah, Arisa, did I forget anything? This was all from our side, I guess.
Yeah, you didn't forget anything, but additionally, like if I'm humbly like asking everyone, then please follow us on Twitch because I'm quite sure like in DevRel team, like we have, like dedicated team working on like extensively like, day-to-day life for growing our community and making things, like nice for our users. So yeah, feel free to follow us on Twitch, then you will get the notification when we are gonna stream next time. And I hope I spoke fine because I'm left with the screen.
DJ, Arisa in the background, you did amazing. Thank you so much for joining, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. And with that, I think we can say maybe like until next time. And thank you so much, Cami, for joining it. I'm hoping to see you like in another upcoming episodes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, just send me a message.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Then
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.